the publisher and editor of the Jackson Blazer News, Alan Wade. Hi, Alan.
Hey, Bart.
Good to see you again.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
And I say again because I see you all over town. You're a one-man band when it comes to the Blazer.
Pretty much, I do get some help here and there. I get some help from my son. But yeah, I'm doing what I love to do, so it's not a problem.
Well, Alan, I remember it seemed like just yesterday we were celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Blazer at Gene Davis Banquet Center. And
Right.
boy, these last 10 years they've flown by.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know where they went, but they certainly passed by, and we're looking at 60.
Well, it's really a testament to your hard work that not only has the Blazer continued to exist, but it's thrived and grown under your leadership.
Well, thank you, Bart. I have to say that I have received a tremendous amount of support from this community. I look back when I was an employee of my brother and today, and mainly because of just friendships that have been established along the way. And the times have changed, obviously. The Blazer was a fledgling young paper, 50 plus years ago, and now we've kind of a mainstay in the community. We're happy that people look forward to seeing the Blazer, and so I'm just thankful, man, that we have been able to sustain that for that time, and then have the support that we have in the community. So.
Well, you're part of what unfortunately is a dwindling group of black news publishers in the state of Michigan. It wasn't so long ago that practically every community in the state, metropolitan community, had a black newspaper of some sort, but there's just a handful left.
Well, I know that a little over 10 years ago, I think around 2008, 2009, it's when many of the newspapers around the country were challenged with electronic media. They began closing their doors. The demand to just stay afloat was high. Even our local paper, they were printing 5 days a week. They had to cut back, but many of the black newspapers closed their doors, and because they couldn't keep up with the demand. So we just, once again, we're happy that it affected us, but we were still able to hold on and keep printing. We didn't miss a print. And so, but you're right, Bart. Many black papers went under during that time.
Well, it really was. It was. I think it was the attitude of the industry, the black press, that worked to make things go forward. Because mainstream media, print, they made the decision that basically they couldn't make a ton of money anymore.
Right.
So they're just not going to even continue in their current format, which for most communities was a daily newspaper, written, printed, and published locally. There was a lot of money made in the newspaper industry, but when the chance to make a lot of money went away, that's when they just stopped.
So I think it was Lee Hampton was telling me that back in the day, some of your richest people in America were newspaper owners. And over the years, I'm sure that, we've never experienced that aspect of the newspaper business, but we were just concerned with changing the narrative, and which is our theme for the 60th, changing the narrative in reference to black people. And now we still continue that fight, but we're more so a community newspaper now. But you're absolutely right. It was about the money.
and it has become more mainstream, I've noticed. In fact, we just saw each other at the first annual Jackson Hispanic Heritage Festival.
Yes.
You were covering that. Obviously not a solely black event.
Right, right. Yeah. Well, it's all about diversity, and I think you and I were discussing that it's not 1960. Even the dynamics of the black family has changed in 60 years. So, we just want to keep up with the changes that are placed in front of us. Yeah, we have a large black readership, but we just try to cover the entire community.
Oh, the Blazer, people can pick it up. How is it distributed? Do people subscribe to it?
We have a subscription that you can contact the Blazer at either jacksonblazer@gmail.com or you can write us at P.O. Box 806, the Jackson Blazer, P.O. Box 806, Jackson 49204. It's $40 a year. But we're placed all over the community, different places. And, I still, there's always somebody looking for a Blazer. So I still get a call. Hey, where can I get a Blazer? They usually run out pretty quick on the stands.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I usually pick mine up at Jackson Coffee Company.
Okay.
They're always there and in, most neighborhood spots. When we had the 50th chance to look back at a lot of the history, as you start to look at what we're going to do for the 60th, I know there's some plans already underway. Are you able to tell us anything
I can
yet?
disclose a little bit. I did speak with Tony Dungy, and he has agreed to come back.
Ah,
Yes, he agreed to come back, and and then Babby Mason, she wants to come back, and Betty Joplin, she wants to come back. Those are some of the big names that were here for the 50th. And so, and it's going to be a community event. We want to salute and honor some people long-standing in this community just for being who they are. When you get to be 70, 80 years old and you've been a mainstay in the community, that's great news to me. And so there's several people, I won't name any of them, that we want to acknowledge, during this community event.
well, you mentioned several names, and really the only coverage of the early career of some of those people, particularly the musicians, was in the Blazer.
Yes.
I remember when Benny Poole died, a lot of the information about his early days available only in your archives, and that's I think something that's been a very valuable service to the Blazer is that you've chronicled the community, the black community, where no one else was doing it.
Right. I'm really proud of that, and it's still quite meaningful when I look back through the archives beginning in 1963 and some of the faces that have been kind of forgotten, and even a young Benny Poole and how he got started, and then a couple other musicians who have modeled themselves after Benny, how he was an inspiration. I think, what's that young guy, Bart, his name eludes me right now. He was down at King Center and he had a concert at the Symphony. But
Classical music
yes,
composer.
yeah, he's a
what's
composer.
his name, Brandon? He was just here a couple weeks ago. Marcus.
Morris.
Yeah,
Marcus
Marcus Norris is right,
yeah.
exactly. But Benny Poole was his inspiration. So, yeah, going back and looking back at those old newspapers and seeing people who were inspirational and sometimes we've forgotten about them a little bit.
Another thing that you, I think, as an organization over the years have done really well is the obituaries. Not just obituaries, but tributes to people who have passed away.
Right.
And you've done some full-page write-ups on some of the most celebrated people who have passed away in our community. And again, with the changes in newspapers, we don't have that anymore.
Right. That's it's important to the family, and it's important to the community. You know, to give people, you know, unfortunately, you know, we like to honor them before they transition. You know, especially when they're getting up in years and they've been prominent in the community. We like to, you know, to recognize them, but especially when they passed on, we want to give them their due.
Yeah, Alan is also a recipient of the Martin Luther King Jr. Medal of Service Award, and that
Along with Bart.
Yes, yours happened. Was it just before the pandemic?
It was just before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was like 6 weeks before the pandemic hit.
Yes, exactly.
The family, it's been a family business. You mentioned your son. What's his future in the business?
That is a good question, Bert. I'd love to tell you that he's going to be my successor, but I think he may have to grow into that position. His mind is elsewhere. You know, he just started his own trucking company, so that's a long way from the newspaper business. But I pray that I'm healthy and I can work for a few more years, and maybe by then he'll have made a decision to.
He's learning the circulation end of the business in trucking.
Yes, he is doing that. Yes, sir.
Well, we'll look forward to all the events of the year leading up to the 60th anniversary, and it sounds like you've got some great plans already in place.
Yeah, it's going to be March 18th at Jackson College. And more information will be available in the pages of the Blazer as we get closer to that date.
All right, and you'll see coverage continuing between now and then of the community, including the Hispanic Heritage Festival. Read all about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was a great event, wasn't it?
It was
I
amazing.
really enjoyed it. The food was great.
Yeah.
People were great. Everybody seemed to have a great time.
And I think every single person there was surprised at how big an event it was.
Yes, including me.
Yeah, and me too. So next year will be even bigger, I'm sure. Great to see you, Alan.
Yeah, thank you, Bart. Yes, sir.
The publisher, editor, reporter, photographer, ad sales manager, everything at the Blazer News, Alan Wade.